Hey everybody, I am Tim, that's T-I-N as in neon, T-I-M is in metallic. When I record my weekly RuPaul's Drag Race reviews, I often have a lot more footage than I end up including in the final video. I personally don't like my videos to be much longer than like 7 minutes total, because who has the time? The last couple weeks I've recorded whole sections talking about issues related to Serena ChaCha, who was someone I was really excited about before the show started, and who has turned out to be quite the controversial character. Why not, edit together some of that footage from both weeks and do a bonus video all about the Serena issue. I usually avoid trying to do really individualized critique in these videos because I just feel like, who am I to psychoanalyze someone or whatever. But I had some points that I thought were relevant to the bigger conversation around art and drag and academic art. So here is my bonus footage about Serena ChaCha. I have saved one of the most exciting and surprising for last, and that is Ms. Serena ChaCha. When I first saw her photo, just seemed like, kind of like a cute, sweet, newbie, pretty girl, who after looking more at her YouTube videos, I realized is a fabulous gender queer theory influenced little art school weirdo, and I'm really excited about it. The last thing that I want to talk about is Serena ChaCha, just because I advocated for her so hard, in my review of the contestants. I think, first of all, we should be careful about making too many assumptions about someone's personality based on, 2 minutes of footage out of context that we really don't know what started that fight with the other girls. Like, really? I just reserve judgment until we get to see a little bit more of her, Even though the execution of that dress maybe wasn't ideal for her body shape and all of that, I still think that she's someone who has the thing that I think either you can't teach or it's at least very difficult to teach, which is, creative vision. I think judgment is what artists develop the most over time once she figures out how to really direct all of that kind of creative energy and vision and uniqueness. Lastly, Serena ChaCha. I don't know about you all, but I felt like I was really kind of disturbed by Serena ChaCha's use of the term ghetto to describe the language and demeanor of the other queens. First of all, I think she kind of had ghetto confused with just drag vernacular, like girl, the kind of things she was commenting on. I think also a lot of what we think of as drag vernacular right now kind of originated in the ball scene, which does have a relationship, I think, to the hood, but it needs to be understood, as sort of distinctive as well. I think that you can critique the way that people are conversing and whether you feel like it is sufficiently mature or civil or what have you, but you don't come for people's language. Our language is our culture, our language is who we are. She said one or two things that I thought were very telling. When she made her voiceover statement, drag is art, and then followed that with, makeup is painting, costume is soft sculpture. The way that she sort of positioned that, it was like privileging, she didn't leave it at drag is art, point blank. She kind of had to justify that statement, in the academic language of the discipline of art. So it wasn't like makeup is my painting and painting is my makeup. It was makeup is painting, and in that sequence, it's the painting that continues to be privileged or have the power, not the makeup, right? If that makes sense. What I see in her is this insecurity about drag as her art and needing to kind of justify it through her academic language, through the language of the academy, which I think is not an unusual thing at all for recent graduates, that kind of stridency about your theory, and it does come off as sort of elitist in a kind of troubling way. And what I would rather see from her long term, and what I think she has the potential for that could be really awesome, is rather than justifying drag to the academy, you pull what is cool from art theory and you pull what is great from drag and you kind of honor the distinctiveness of both and then kind of mix them up in cool, freaky, unusual ways that really completely fucks with and obliterates that distinction between highbrow and lowbrow culture, right? Altogether. Whereas I think that what I saw her doing or the kind of statements I saw her making. Actually, I don't think this was necessarily her intention, but kind of reinforced that distinction between highbrow and lowbrow. Whether deliberately or inadvertently, she really ended up kind of disrespecting those queens by saying, you know, I'm the artist, you're not. I listened to the Elimination Lunch. For those of you who don't know, Michelle Visage and Mimi I'm First do a spreecast on the New Now Next website with the most recently eliminated contestant the day after the show, and fans have the opportunity to ask questions. And someone asked Serena a question about what her art background was and how it led her to drag. And she said something that I thought was interesting. She said, I'm going to be honest with you, which is an interesting preface, right? When you say, I'm going to be honest with you, it sounds like you're fessing up to something, like there's a slight level of shame there, maybe. And then she said, I began as a painter. You know, I was doing all this drag on the side, and my professor said, why don't, you know, you're so passionate about that, why don't you come bring that here and do that as your art? So there was this way that I detected almost maybe like a slight insecurity about failure as a traditional artist. And if you couple that with her lack of experience as like a traditional drag queen, I think you've got insecurity about the drag, and you've got a kind of insecurity about the academia, and the way they come together is sort of like, ah. My hope is that as she progresses, as she becomes more knowledgeable and confident about drag and all the tools that come from drag, as well as her academic training, she'll kind of learn what to pull from each that she loves to really put her unique stamp on things, and like I said, really challenge the dichotomy between highbrow and lowbrow art. Do something really unusual that only she could do. You know, maybe it's just because I'm an optimist and because I've enjoyed her YouTube videos from when she was a student. I think she has that potential.